Ukraine's exiled former army chief, now serving as Ukraine's ambassador to the UK, Valeriy Zaluzhny, has penned a sober, stinging column that reads, at times, like a string of veiled jibes aimed at his former boss. He lays out a picture of long-term mismanagement that left Ukraine's military underfunded, overstretched, and scrambling, while the Kremlin methodically strengthened its forces. The contrast Zaluzhny draws between careful Russian preparation and Ukraine's improvisation is meant to sting, not only as analysis, but as a political rebuke.
The political purpose of war is what answers all questions. It is this term that makes it possible to see not only what the enemy is doing, but also how to move forward ourselves. And if, according to the same Clausewitz, war is a trinity, the population, the armed forces, and the state administration, then these aspects are three different codes of laws, and among these parties, it is the population that is the most sensitive party in terms of supporting the war.
Zaluzhny's column repeatedly implies that while Western capitals offered rhetoric and promises, Moscow quietly put a clear political goal into practice and mobilized for years. The jabs are subtle, framed as strategic diagnosis, but the message is unmistakable. Planning beat promises, and that gap cost Ukraine dearly.
Already having a clearly defined goal of the war, taking into account its own capabilities in the state of our state, Russia began unprecedented preparations for an invasion of Ukraine in mid-2019, deploying troops along our borders.
Zaluzhny underlines concrete consequences, shortages of personnel, weapons, ammunition, and the painful mismatch in scale and equipment between the two militaries. Again, the criticism is implied rather than shouted. A clinical audit that reads like a rebuke of leadership choices and priorities.
The armed forces of Ukraine met the full-scale Russian invasion with huge shortages of everything from people to weapons. The situation in the Ukrainian Navy was even worse. We had no aircraft carriers, destroyers, corvettes, or submarines.
He frames Russia's approach as a strategy of attrition, a long grind that exploits industrial and economic depth to create political disintegration. The veiled jibes return here as a warning. Without a clear political goal and public unity, Ukraine risks being worn down on multiple fronts.
A war of attrition is waged mainly thanks to reserves accumulated in peacetime. Preparations for a war of attrition should focus primarily on the general, proportionate development and improvement of the state's economy, since a weak economy, of course, cannot withstand the severe tests of attrition.
There's an added political sting to Zaluzhny's words. He is widely discussed as a potential political rival to President Zelensky. Public commentary and recent polls have put him in the frame as a credible alternative, and Kremlin rhetoric has at times publicly treated Ukraine's leadership question as unsettled, a line of commentary that has only raised the political temperature at home and abroad. This background makes Zaluzhny's veiled critiques read as both military analysis and political signaling